Thanks everybody for joining. I'm Mike from EDM Elevated.
I'm Mia.
We're excited for this opportunity to sit down with the founders of Plumhouse. Tin, Gio, thanks for coming, or thanks for having us. We're here live on location. It's really hot.
We'll go.
Yeah. How you guys doing?
Some grace. Nice start of the week.
Awesome. Before we get started, anybody that has any questions that wants to throw them into the chat on the fly, my beautiful girlfriend Marissa's in the background. She's going to be monitoring that, and we could throw them in here at the end. We'll do a little interview, and towards the end, we'll do a little Q&A sesh. So submit some questions if you have them. So sitting to my right is Tin, a little further over, Gio, Mia again. We're going to cover the history of the business, how the new business model has kind of come about, the state of afters, how, SLC is involved and maybe cracking down. But yeah, let's do some intros first. Mia, do you want to start it off?
All right, I guess I'm starting it off, guys. So I'm Mia. I was born and raised in Harriman, so I am local. Yipty day. I can't tell, or if you can't tell, Mike does all the the managing behind the scenes. I was just coming along on my dandy way, and he said, "Hey, you want to help me make content?" And I said, "I'm in." So that's kind of how I got into it. Me and Mike have been friends for like a year and a half now.
Years, yeah.
It's been pretty awesome. So I like to run the social and kind of a little bit of the marketing. If you haven't checked out our Discord, that's kind of where we're focused at. We got a lot of big plans, and it's gonna be fun. So yeah.
Yeah, and I'll jump in. I moved to Salt Lake City about 2 years ago from Boston. Me and my girlfriend drove across the whole country, and it's supposed to be just a little 6-month trial, but here we are. We are huge EDM fans, and one of the things that I noticed when we first got here was there wasn't such a sense of, community, or the communities online just didn't seem, the same as they were back east. So we started our own little Discord channel and Instagram account, and our whole kind of mission is it's all unbiased, and there's no, we're not promoters. We promote everybody, and we're going to see where it goes from there. Tin, you want to take over?
Introduce myself?
Yeah, please.
My name's Tin. I'm one of the starting founders here at Plumhouse, and we just started a little over a year ago. I kind of started doing parties at my place. I would say that was like the first sense of promotion I got. I was an attorney for about 5 years. I passed the bar back in 2015, and then during retirement, I just kind of traveled a lot, went to a lot of music festivals. I mean, I've been raiding for about 12 years, and these grew so much that when I had an opportunity to get this warehouse, I kind of jumped on it. Nice. So, that's kind of like the overarching back end of how I got into this.
Awesome. Gio.
Yeah, so I'm Giovanni, David Ezekiel Brooks. I've been doing this since 2012. Back in the day, I started a nonprofit organization, and we needed to, figure out a way to integrate arts. So we started doing these events called Indie Undergrounds, where it'd be like a spoken word poetry tournament in between like a DJ set and then a band and then like a rap group. And it was just all about sharing like local artists and getting people together for, the spearheading of transformation through art.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having us. Excited. Guess we could just jump right in. Little icebreaker. How'd you guys meet? How'd you get into business with each other?
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. It was my first Burning Man, and I didn't know him at all. I went to meet someone else at his actual camp he was organizing, and I met him there. And then, after that, we became kind of loose-knit friends, probably on the ancillary of our friend groups. But when I got into this, when I first got into this, I was looking for an operations partner that really knew what he was doing. And when one of my initial partners kind of didn't work out, he was kind of like I wanted to see what happened, and he's been one of my best business partners I've ever had. So that's how, at least I think.
Maybe we'll get there someday.
Yeah, but yeah, is anything to add to that one?
It was cool. I'm pretty standoffish when it comes to just like new people, right? Like there's so many people that are coming like in and out of my life that I don't really get a chance to like dive into, be like, oh my gosh, tell me your life story, have a seat, here's a grape, here's some juice, let's talk. But 10 came off as like a really chill dude, especially because he was with one of my favorite people, Jessica, and so he automatically got like the pass because he was kicking it with them. So then he invited me to a few of his parties. He came to a few of mine, saw what I was doing, I saw what he was doing, and it just made sense.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's awesome.
Well, that's awesome. Do you want to tell us how Plumhouse started? How you like decided on the property, all that?
Yeah, that one's really, really complex. So I told you I was doing those parties. They got a little, I would say a little too big for even a large residential house. So it's about like a 6,000 square foot home in Sugar House, but it's a really nice neighborhood. And they got a little too big, and I completely shut them off after months and months of growing them, and they became really, really fun. Like some of the funnest house parties I think like Salt Lake's really ever had. But when this opened, or when this opportunity was given to me by a man named Nick, he was also a very ancillary figure in my life. Not didn't know him very much, but I knew this area quite a bit. So I used to go to Provocateur all the time. I used to go to Black Rabbit. Like, there's been a ton of like afters. I mean,
Sure.
I've gone to Black Forest, all this, but when he said the option of having this place plus a second stage and a potential courtyard, I was really into it. I brought our third partner, Greg, in. We went and looked at the place because I wasn't sure about getting into it by myself. I didn't have like a ton of expertise.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I really wanted to do it. I think it sounded like a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
I make a community space. And Nick, at the time, had like a lot of aspirations for the place. But yeah, it didn't work out, obviously, with him. There's a lot of things on the back end that didn't work out, especially financial. And so we wanted to make sure the place ran well and ran above board. So we had that alignment, and when we brought David in, we had that alignment. But did you want to know about the name? Did you want to know anything else?
Just like how you selected this, and
Yeah, so honestly, the opportunity was given to me for this specific warehouse, and you should have seen it from before. Like, we didn't have a lot of this built out. There's a lot of build out, even though it's still pretty like raw. Like, there's a lot of build out just to make it like livably functioning. Yeah. And so, that was basically the beginning of it. And it happened, I want to say, end of May, beginning of June. So almost exactly a year ago.
okay.
And yeah, that was the beginning of it.
Yeah. You had the 1 year last weekend, right?
Yeah, that was really
Congrats.
Yeah.
Big stuff. That's exciting.
Oh, don't I take one?
Yeah. So this question actually comes from a follower, Alex. But he wants to know, for the listeners that have never been to Plumhouse, tell us more about the vibe. Like, what makes Plumhouse Plumhouse?
I'm gonna take a little bit of credit for this one, but I think a lot of it stems from the energy of the people that are at the top, right? Like me and Tin, we have like really positive, just like energy. Greg as well, and it starts to spread. And then the original people that we started to bring around, really cool, really welcoming, really open individuals, and then that just continuously spreads, right? So a lot of the people who end up finding out about it are individuals who care about community, right? Like there's not a lot of opportunity anymore for people to like go out and like talk to people and enjoy people, and us having this patio outside, quintessential for being able to just like connect with someone while there's loud music in one room and loud music in the other room. And regardless of whatever the genre, you'll probably find something that you'll like on any of the nights, whether it's house versus techno or drum and bass versus rhythm, right? And whatever it is, we try and mix it up to where it's like diametrically opposing sounds so that you can have like a variety for the individuals. So it's really, a lot of people say they meet like all their friends. Everyone says they meet each other at Plumhouse, and they always like thank me, and I'm sure they thank Tin too, about just like connecting and getting to know people deeper in a social spot. I mean, that's really why one of the reasons why we were like, yo, a social club is the move, because it really is a spot, like a hub for people to connect.
Yeah. Like, we always use the term plum home as like kind of like a funny way to kind of a version of house, but I mean, people overuse the word, conscious and intentional all the time, but we really do have the intention of making it like a homey space, a homey third space, especially when, between the hours of like 1 and 4 or 5 a.m. I mean, how many homey places can you go to, in Salt Lake City that is a third space for people when they want to like get together and listen to good music with good sound. I would say it's relatively rare, and obviously there's a lot of pop-ups, there's a lot of other competition or whatever it is, but at the end of the day, I want people to feel like every time you go, there's people you already know here. There's accountability because it's less anonymous, because we're now members only.
Yeah.
And when you do have that sense of community in third space, you act a lot more intentionally within yourself. And I think over time, like you said, it spreads from leadership core down and promulgates through our community. And I think if you can make those kind of changes and really embody those kind of changes, I think it really makes the space exactly what it is now. But
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's only been a year and it's grown so fast. So obviously something's working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. We'll go into more about how the community and all that goes here, but just a few other ones here. Like, can you tell us about like the regular talent, any favorite events? How often are you booked up? That sort of a thing. What would be, how the space can evolve to different types of bookings and stuff like that. You mentioned 2 stages.
Yeah. Well, my favorite event was our New Year's event.
Okay.
That was like extra fun. Just and giving like the first 150 people like their little poppers. We had projection mapping, had a countdown. It was cool.
Yeah.
And October 1st is our last day here as of right now. So I'm a little bit sad that we're not gonna be able to run it here. Again, I was really pushing to try and get into the extend to the end of the year.
Alpha there is this news. October 1st, has that been out for a bit?
I mean, we tell our community when they ask us, but we haven't promulgated the information via any specific news site or post or anything. But as of now, it's October 1st. I mean, obviously there's some variables, but right now.
Yeah. We'll get into the future plans. But sorry, keep going about New Year's. Yeah.
No, it was just a great event, man. Like the vibes were great. Everyone, like it's like putting your hat in the ring to throw a New Year's experience and with a countdown. There's so many options for people to like choose and go to, right? And for that many people to select here and to spend it with us.
Yeah.
Oh man, I couldn't ask for anything more.
And with bookings, I mean, we do have a few that have been crowd favorites, but I actively look for new talent a lot, like especially when it comes to the bass side, because that's what I try to book a little more. Gio does his house side. He's been doing it for however many years, but we've booked easily over 100 different DJs right now, maybe even more, maybe even double that amount. Yes, because we've done probably over 100 events now at a year, and we have 2 stages, so that's 10 DJs each, or to 10 DJs total, right?
Yeah, it's not a small fee.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, within booking fees, I mean that's quite a bit.
Yeah,
that we've been able to spread it out. I mean, with new artists, it's kind of like if you're already kind of part of the community, if you come to Plumhouse, if you've been supporting Plumhouse, obviously we give our members kind of a more preferred booking. Like if you're already coming here a lot and you're already part of the community, you already have visibility where we see, oh, you do DJ, we'll see you. But if you're like, you never come to any of our events, never really have gone to Plumhouse, and you just want to DJ, that's cool too. It's just we don't have as much sight on you.
Yeah.
You don't see it as much.
Okay. All right.
Interesting. I like it. All right. So you've shifted recently to a nonprofit model. Tell us more about how that decision came to be, how your memberships will work, and what members can expect out of Plumhouse.
Yeah, that's interesting. This is a twofold. I mean, we should both talk about this, but
sure.
It's a lot. So when we first did this, I looked into all the legalities of it because, like I told you, I was a lawyer, and the biggest part for me was like being compliant enough for an underground space to actually be a community space. We really don't take any profit anyway. Like every dollar we've really made has gone into booking, sound, the space, the venue, everything that we've been doing. Yeah, and so it made it like extremely easy to make this switch. But when we first had the shutdown, we did a really big post because in all of our research, I had already looked into what we were doing that had to make us compliant, and I thought we were. So when the city came and an RV was parked over by our back gate, they got into the space, and then they said that the indirect sale of alcohol is existing because you have a ticket sale plus alcohol present.
Yeah.
So it's an alcohol allowed space.
Yeah.
And so that counts as an indirect sale of alcohol. We never furnish alcohol. We don't indirectly sell it in any way. You don't get like a VIP pass and you can get as much free alcohol you want.
Yeah.
We don't do anything that involves us selling alcohol, getting our clients whatsoever. But they call it an indirect sale because of the admissions
Interpretation.
and their interpretation of the law. And so when we looked at it truly, we looked at who does this, who does private parties for members, who does this at any time they want, country clubs, social clubs, yacht clubs.
Yeah.
And I looked into it a lot more and I was like, you know what, this is perfect. We don't need to take a salary anyways right now. We don't need to make profit to keep running for ourselves. We just need revenue to make sure we can pay the lease and pay artists and supply, good sound and production, right?
Yeah.
So it was a really easy, not easy, it was a really difficult change, but it was an easy fundamental change because nothing really changes for us as owners. Just the back end gets a lot more difficult.
Yeah.
Because we have to decommercialize the space completely. And the only thing we were making money off of for the last however many months before the change was ticket sales.
Yeah.
So ticket sales and rentals. Okay, we did a lot of rentals, a lot of small groups renting from us, and then ticket sales. So
Ticket sales specifically to members, though. We had
to members. We always had members only, but it was still like a door fee.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
And with memberships, we cannot have anything that resembles a commercial door sale anymore.
Okay.
So like all of our revenue has to come from member dues.
Sure.
To make sure that it runs. So when that happens, it becomes decommercialized. It has a lot of protections. And we have to abide by a lot of rules to make sure the IRS keeps us compliant.
Sure.
But it also helps with, Salt Lake City liquor laws. So the DABS doesn't need to be involved when it's a decommercialized space that ours is.
Okay.
Any thoughts about the change?
the changes then on the back end. Kind of here,
Still working a lot on that. I've been working a lot.
the coding, the implementing a 501c7 while it's in the like in a bottle. I mean, it was a response. It was a lot. I had to drop a lot of my other like projects and businesses to really focus on this to ensure that we could go forward and not have to worry about the police showing up and shutting us down ever again, right? And they've come for like a sound complaint, right? Like there's a security guard at like a building next to us that called in, and cops came over and they're like, hey, the alcohol thing, I don't want to like be pressing you guys all the time, but you guys need to change it. And I said, well, take this folder of compliance.
The compliance folder, I worked on that with him, and that was my biggest one of my biggest things I wanted to put together. So it'd be kind of like a straight communication to the city that this is how we're compliant in every single way.
Yeah. So sending one to a compliance folder to the DABS, the fire chief, the fire marshal, the city council, like the mayor's office, and then lastly the overall like battalion, like the station in this region for me, TPD.
Gotcha. Can you tell us more about the different tiers of ticketing? So just remind everybody, this only happened, 3 weeks ago now?
3 weeks ago.
So we're pretty new, and obviously you came up with a plan really fast and kind of sticking to it. Has anything changed over the past few weeks, or the model for the ticket? There's 3 different tiers, right?
Yeah. So far, I think it's been pretty good. It can be a little complicated for some people to kind of grasp, but I wanted to make sure the ticketing, memberships. The memberships. The ticketing was gone. So we had to do memberships, and honestly, finding a price point was really difficult because there's a balance there. Because if we make them a little too cheap, which I would rather err on that side anyways, we don't make enough money, and we kind of have to take a hit every month to kind of just keep it alive. Yeah. And we could do that for a little bit, but there's a sweet spot where you're kind of like just hitting the cost of keeping it alive, and not making too much. And if you make a little too much, you put it right back into it anyways. So that's where you want the sweet spot to be in. And I wanted one that was pretty accessible, which is like $50 a month. And $50 a month, I would say most people that go twice already pay that a month. So, and we allow 1 free guest list. So it's like at a $50 level for our standard events, that first you buy it, you kind of get in for $50, and then the rest of the month is screwed for all standard.
Yes.
So we couldn't really do like a per event pricing like that. It would be so easy, but that would look like kind of like a subscription model or kind of like tickets with extra steps.
Yeah.
So why we made it specifically where there are standard events where we wouldn't have to fly in DJs, we wouldn't have to have extra costs, we wouldn't have to have collaborators that we do pay on the back end. That would be all our standard events. That would just be a flat $50. You get to go to all standard events. You get to be part of our community. And then when I looked at the regulations, you can have more premium events, which are our Plum Core events and higher, right?
Yeah.
So we do have one more. Our main one, which I would hope most people get, is it's $100, and not only do you get every event possible that we have per month free,
Which is about 8.
which is always about 8. We don't really miss a Friday or Saturday. If you, if you've been following us and you've been making your wrap-ups every Friday, probably Plumhouse every single Friday, Saturday. So we want to be as consistent. So like that continuity for the community is really important to us, to have it as consistent as possible.
Yeah.
So that $100 one will get you pretty much anything you want to go to, and you get 4 guest passes. So it's like you would have had 4 guest passes. If we were to do ticketing, what is 4 guest passes would have cost you in the past? $100. So it's basically for free.
Yeah. I guess what was a little confusing to me was there's obviously the memberships, but then the collab events were also selling tickets at one point, or maybe they're not anymore.
So the collab events, because we've made the change right in the middle of some of these.
Okay.
So there's I think 2 events that they had taken on the backside that we had to completely stop.
Okay.
After the fact.
But moving forward.
Yeah, moving forward, it cannot be a thing. We shouldn't have any type of commercial activity here.
Gotcha.
So
okay, that makes more sense now.
So then everything should just be free.
Yeah.
For members that are paying to basically just support the space to be alive.
And you can upgrade as you go.
And you can upgrade as you go. And you can cancel at any time. So let's say you don't like Plumhouse events. You got the membership because you wanted to try it out. There's nothing holding you there. The only thing we want is members and people that want to be here every time we're here, every time they're here. If you don't want to be here, you shouldn't have come anyways.
Yeah.
We want the community to, we already have so many people go to our events. We really would like to distill the type of intentional person that wants to be investing in the community, not with just their money, but with their responsibility, with their
dance moves.
Yeah, with their with everything that and it just gives a little more accountability to the space to even have this membership.
Sure.
Not just to be legally compliant, but I think it's good for us. And in 3 weeks, 3 weeks we already hit our goal for months. So we're extremely happy with how it's going.
Yeah, I was talking to Joe. He's over 400 members currently.
Yeah, I think it's 410 members right now.
Wow.
And
congrats.
Awesome.
and the legacy membership, it's the highest tier. Not everybody gets it, but it gets you 8 guest lists. If you have a really big group and you always want to bring guests and you don't want to think about it, you get a locker, you get free merch drop, you get a lot of things. That one is probably a rarity, but I want most people to get probably the $100 one.
Okay.
And not just it makes it simple too. You're which ones can I go to? Is this a premium event or is it just a standard event? It takes the guessing out completely.
Yeah.
So that $100 one just kind of, basically our core. It's called the core memberships.
Yeah.
Own core membership. The other one, the $50. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, at the 150 level though, the biggest perk I would say is the fast pass, being able to skip the line.
Okay.
Right, you just get to come straight to security, bypass. Usually there's a pretty long line.
And there's a gold card or something too.
It's a purple card.
It's a purple metal.
It's a little metal, but
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
But like I said, we can't really limit it on just a bet number, like a punch pass or anything like that. We have to make it a membership. Each one is a membership booth, and you get privileges with each one, similar to a country club. Right?
Yeah. Okay. It clears it up. Yeah. What do you got over there?
That's awesome. So with that now, that shift, that change, I know it's only been a few weeks. Do you feel like the relationship with the city has become better? Have you guys have interactions with the city at this point? Is this still
I feel pretty positive about it so far, but Gio would know a little bit about that.
I'm usually the one that is talking to the police when they show up.
Yeah.
But no, honestly, every interaction that we've had since the change has been incredibly positive, right? I've brought out the binder twice now because it was 2 different cops, and they were really chill about it. They're like, "Oh man, this looks great." Take it into our sergeant so that there's no
Your first rodeo.
Yeah. And that they actually were talking about how they're from Arizona and they wish there was more stuff like this in Salt Lake. And he was saying all my talking points that I usually talk to the cop about. I was like, "Dang, bro, you get her, man."
Yeah, and it just shows that we're not like some fly by night like promoter that just is trying to like rake cash from people and move on.
Yeah.
Like what we would rather do is make less money and be more sustainable.
Yeah.
Because that again, that continuity is vital to community. Because every time you have a pause, every time you have to like shut down, every time you have to like refund tickets, every time you have to like feel like the community is like lacking for a second, or like where you aren't responsible or reliable.
Yeah.
The community kind of like flows down. You know, it's like a wave of movement.
Sure.
You know.
Yep.
And we like the continuity. It doesn't have to go fast, but it has. But it just has to be continuous.
Yeah.
That's what we really want to the space. And so far, the cops, like I said, have been awesome. And who's gonna put together like a legal binder like that? Who's gonna like make changes? You know, who's gonna make like a whole website on the back end just to make it just to be compliant in like less than a week?
Yeah.
When you have another event coming up like the next Friday,
Yeah.
like not a lot of this. The back end should do something like that. And I'm super proud of us, and I'm super proud of our community to like not. Obviously, there's with any change, you know, like Facebook makes a change, people are complaining.
Yeah.
You know? Like barely a toggle or button changes, and they're already mad at something. So obviously, there's going to be some criticism. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of just difficulties in just educating. But I think once people really understand the fundamental way we're going to move this into the future, they'll get behind it, and they already kind of have.
Yeah.
But we're happy to address it because that's the most important thing about this interview is to, you know, educate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on that point, police, the city, you guys are kind of on the forefront of kind of putting together this coalition of afters, right? You had a big meeting about that, and you're kind of paving the way for that. You want to touch on that at all?
I'll say like a little blurb first, but I mean, I don't want to give it too much into it. We will talk about it.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, these are our peers, these are our colleagues, these are our competitors, right?
Yeah.
And the amount of collaboration they've given and honestly trailblazed, because like I said, like we talked about, we're going to here a year.
Yeah.
And these people have been doing this for years.
Sure.
And the amount of collaboration, Salt Lake City specifically, like all the actual owners of these places have been extremely kind, extremely giving, extremely educating.
Yeah.
And so to bring them in and help push our our goals and mission for what the city of Afters looks like. And again, it's underground, so it's like some of them don't want to feel like they want to have to deal with the law every day.
Yeah.
But for us, we're in one place. We can't hide anywhere. We can't go. The city, the police want to pull out. They're gonna pull around right here. So
Yeah.
we're like a turtle. We have to have the protection on our back because we're so slow. We can't move anywhere, right?
Yeah.
And we're agile. Some can move, some can die down, some can go. But we had to have these legal protections. But yeah, talk about the coalition.
Yeah, coalition, honestly, I'd love to build coalitions for damn near everything if that's the case. If there's any sort of injustice or any sort of like thing that we want to move forward as a community, a coalition is the move. Get all the stakeholders involved
Yeah.
that are interested in the same objectives, right? Like we want a safe place to be able to stay up late at night. Ideally, we could have people BYOB, right? Maybe even do what Space Miami did and have like a block that has 24-hour alcohol sales for the weekend, right? That'd be wild, right?
Not Salt Lake City.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you never know, right? Maybe try and get a a night mayor, right? Like a mayor of the night implemented so that there's a specific liaison that's focused on nightlife economy, right?
Yeah.
Because
A lot of big cities do that.
a lot of big cities have that, and Salt Lake City is just going to keep on growing. And all these people that are coming in from other towns, a lot of them are LDS. A lot of them actually enjoy going out and drinking and having a nightlife. And so being able to come and have a spot for that and have someone represent all the groups that are wanting to have nightlife, that's going to be incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's some of the goals and objectives that we're looking to accomplish.
Also.
Yeah, and we have. I mean, I don't want to name them all, but we had a lot of notable peers that came to it.
Sure.
And the ones that have been there longer and have been able to survive, persist, and grow. I mean, they have a lot of knowledge. So any newcomer that comes in, it's not anti-competitive. It's honestly like helpful to know like where has the city been extremely strict with you about, like what things can we change to make them kind of be okay with us.
Yeah.
And so I think it's extremely important to have some kind of group like this, just to help with what the police do.
Yeah.
Because I mean, do you think they always want to just shut you down every time? If you're compliant, I think this really depends. Yeah. So what we're trying to do is just try to let them know, like, and be as transparent as possible.
Awesome. And we were talking earlier, the big thing is the alcohol, right? We have a question from Instagram.
Yeah, what is it?
You know, everybody loves BYOB. I love BYOB. You love it. You guys probably do too.
Yes.
If you got rid of that, it'd probably solve a lot of your problems, right? Is that ever gonna happen?
We're completely dry.
No, like if you got a liquor license or something.
Oh, it wouldn't solve any. It'd actually make it much, much worse.
Okay.
Because we want to operate until whenever we want for our club members.
Yeah.
We want to operate till 4 or 5, and no liquor license space can do that. Actually, the compliance on having it be able to sell alcohol anywhere in Utah is extremely high. So it's like we have one set of rules for private members, right? I was a 501c7.
Yeah.
This is the block that looks what it looks like for if you got a liquor license.
Yeah.
That's actually what Mutiny is dealing with right now.
Okay.
So they have to get single use permits every single time, and it's paperwork. The amount of paperwork.
Yeah.
This big. And so this is freedom. Just like a fresher, you know? So if you got a liquor license, one, your money goes up quite a bit. Like your gross revenue goes up.
Yeah.
Double what our ticket said to be.
Even triple.
Yeah, being triple.
Yeah.
And so what do we need more revenue for? Don't really care.
Yeah.
We have enough in memberships that would keep us alive. That's what we're happy with.
Yeah.
Not a goal. 2, we don't want to be time specific.
Okay.
3, we don't want to abide by all the DABS rules of what exactly we have to do
Okay.
to be able to sell alcohol here.
All right.
And so we'd rather just avoid DABS completely and have the protections of running something that is private, intentional, members only.
And BYOB has never gone away.
Yeah.
Of course, we can be so ordinary healthy, and people don't even bring in alcohol. But the BYOB is basically you're a 21 and over member. You should be able to bring a beverage of your choice.
Yeah,
that's the real. That's it.
Yeah,
it's not about like we're focusing on alcohol in any way. It's not that. That's the main reason people are here. We have good music. We have great music, and some people do like to drink. So and they're over 21. Why would we stop there?
Sure.
Well, and you have to look at the state of the economy too, right? Like if you're going to all these nightclubs or bars, or whatever, you're going to be dropping $40 easy.
At least.
At least.
I mean, inflation. I drink a lot.
Yeah.
It's like 80. I heard like bar easily. Yeah.
We have plum core.
And so yeah, right. And so that's
all part.
if you think of all the money you're saving by bringing your own alcohol, they're still getting there. The DABS and the state is still getting their tax money from the wholesale, right? It's not like we're making our own alcohol here and like adding it to people. They're still benefiting, right? So there's no real impact on like us having BYOB other than the fact that we're saving money for our people who likely, if you look at the data, alcohol drinking, going to bars and, just drinking alcohol in general has gone down. Over year, people are drinking less and less and less.
Yeah.
And prices of alcohol is having to go up and up and up in order to sustain that.
Yeah.
So we're right at the perfect spot of, building it from the ground up, underground, letting people save their money and come enjoy themselves and connect with people.
Yeah, as a numbers only. Yeah. Just like a really, if you actually think about the numbers, a really cheap third space for nightlife. Like I said, you go to any commercial club beer or anywhere there's a ticket sale for a big artist or anything like that.
Yeah.
Think about how much you're spending just on one ticket.
Sure.
And think about what our membership dues look like. Yeah. It's so easy to do the calculus, and you actually just look at it that way instead of being like, oh my God, $100.
Yeah.
It's a whole month for us of formatting. It's 8 events. Maybe in a month.
Okay.
So
Nice.
Nice. All right, I'm gonna shift gears a little bit here, and we're gonna go back into the community aspect of Plumhouse.
Sure.
So how has the local scene surprised you guys? Has there been any moments where you looked into the crowds or mid-show and you're like, wow, people really understand and get what we're doing here at Plumhouse?
yeah.
Tell us more about the community.
Yeah.
Yeah, owning one of these is really funny. I can't own now. It's a 501c7. Being a board member at one of these is really interesting. Because when we started this, I wasn't super familiar, and everyone that goes to my house parties just have a great time. But now it's like really changed, and it becomes a lot more inclusive, right? It's not just my friends or friends of friends. It's like a whole actual club, like community,
Yeah.
And Yeah, there's been moments where it's just been like, I can't believe how much this person I've never met has resonated with this concept so incredibly much, and how many times that has happened, you know?
Yeah.
And that's one of the most beautiful feelings. Or like when, you know, someone meets like their partner, like I have a good friend that's, you know, now dating her boyfriend, like for however many months because of they met here at Plumhouse, you know?
Yeah.
And just how many of those little connections you have, you know, you imagine going to, I'm not going to name any names, but you go to an event and it's just loud, great music, nowhere to sit,
Yeah.
and a big stage with lots of production. How many chances of, you know, serendipity do you get to just meet someone and have a chat?
Yeah.
Clubhouse, you can go dance, you can have that, but there's so much just lounge space and free space for people to just actually have little connections.
Plus, going back to the whole like country club thing, golf
Yeah.
club thing, like you're making friends there. It's not just people coming in and out that you never talk to.
Yeah, exactly. It's like regulars, and you see them again, like, oh, I saw you last week, you know. And so the community has been awesome, and the demand it will show, because the demand will go down if you're creating a bad product, you know, or
Sure.
a bad space for somebody. It will show in membership roles, it will show in attendance, but we get like little small, almost like missionaries that will come out and try to bring all their friends to Plumhouse over and over and over. And then that one friend will come for the first time and they're, oh my God, and then tell other friends. So it's kind of like been a lot of word of mouth of the growth of this community and how supportive they've been.
Yeah.
Obviously there's and after this community, there's always inherent dangers, which I would say, you know, that, you know, it's pretty late. There's some dangers of people being like overly inebriated, all of this. We have zero tolerance for a lot of these.
Yeah.
And we ban people that are dangerous. So if we get a report or something, like we'll.
Yeah. I mean, might as well go into that. We have a question
Oh,
about
really?
safety and
Yeah.
how you address all that.
Yeah. But anyways, I just wanted to address your issue where the community has been really, really awesome to see. And it's Plumhouse. Like it's so cool that something that is our concept has such a big community, you know.
Yeah. No.
Any thoughts on that?
I love this community, man.
Yeah.
It's tough to like walk downstairs though sometimes, because you know upstairs is like where a lot of just like the close homies get to kick it and talk and just
Yeah.
you know have like really like deep conversations about like the universe and stuff. Because that's what I enjoy like then, right?
Times.
And it's like I'll come downstairs because maybe like a speaker or something is a little bit too loud or got some problem with sound or whatever it is, right? And it's just like Geo, and same for 10 too. And I love it. And I try my best to like say hello to everybody, but I'm like mission oriented, you know.
I can look grumpy sometimes.
Yeah,
Especially on the busy nights. I'm like, don't talk to me. I'm so busy here.
Well, I was going to say, you guys are doing this every weekend. Fridays, I iterate till 4 in the morning.
Yeah, it's lucky I don't have a day job. So
yeah, it's kind of crazy.
yeah. I mean, okay, so yeah, it's been great.
Awesome. Yeah, I just had a question about safety. Every venue deals with it. You said you have a zero tolerance policy.
Yes. So, you know, a lot of people will say like, oh, you put out this policy. What does it really mean? And it's like, well, it's actually pretty important because every time you promulgate these rules, not everybody has to abide by them, but
Yeah.
at least they know where the venue stands. And then we have security. We try to aim for 1 to every 50 participants or 1 to every 75 participants of a security person.
Okay.
And on top of that, we have me, Gio, Greg.
Yeah.
And on top of that, we have door, we have lighting, we have
Common people reporting stuff.
reporting stuff.
Yeah.
And you know, they have headsets. They'll tell us. And I mean, we do have like a ban list. Like throughout the weeks, we'll just get hit up, and we'll have to do research on what's going on.
Cut their purple card in half.
No, I mean we'll have to look into. It's like we'll get randomly a screenshot of some court thing, and we're like, oh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
We'll look into our membership roles. We'll look into it. We'll
Yeah.
send it to our security people. But during nights I've noticed, especially during our quick pickup, so there was a moment where it was like kind of like a good steady,
Yeah.
and then I want to say, no, it was actually pretty quick. It popped up pretty quick actually. Now that I think about it, popped up pretty quick. Like even last summer already, like in August when the swell came,
Yeah,
like it was already starting it was already starting to pop up. And then into October, I think one of our best months. And then into New Year's is already another best month. And it just kept going.
Yeah.
And when that happens, you don't have a chance to kind of like take a breather, you know,
Sure.
reassess the community at large. And what we did was just kept hiring more and more security. Obviously, like, you know, we have first aid, we have everything we need here to take care of things.
Yeah.
But I noticed with memberships, it's housed. Like take an anonymity away from people a little bit. There's just like one little step to take anonymity away, and I think people become a little more responsible. Not to say that nothing bad can happen, and we're not vigilant all the time. We have cameras.
Yeah.
We make sure, but from like a community security standpoint, it's always been one of our number one goals. So especially with nightlife and late night, and for women, because our branding has always been approachable. It's always been more, Plumhouse. It doesn't sound, it shouldn't sound intimidating to you.
Yeah.
It shouldn't sound like it's this deep, dark thing you go to at
Yeah, Colts.
You know what I mean? It's a Plumhouse.
Depends what you're into, I guess.
Right? And yeah, some people are really into that, which is awesome, but we've wanted it to be approachable from the beginning. And, whenever we have guests that feel safe, happy, secure, like that's the most important part of the whole thing for us. So
Awesome.
and we can't be perfect. We try our best. Like
Yeah,
but
I mean, every venue deals with this, so it's
exactly.
good to hear that's a priority for you guys.
And we only we never really have had that many issues here yet. Like we've had to call the police once.
And it wasn't even us. It wasn't even us. It was a whole interesting scenario.
But we haven't had to, like, we've been able to handle everything in house, like the entire year we've been here. So
All right, awesome.
It's awesome. All right, so you've seen obviously a lot of local talent come through here. Are there any DJs or producers who started here and are doing big things now, or is this a goal that you guys have that you want to see someone kind of grow through the community and just through like local talent?
big things, huh? Anybody you see that? Well, one duo I really love, and they're like my little siblings. But when I used to do my house parties, because I was really close friends with their older sister, is Maplo and Owen and Lex, and they started from basically doing just the little house parties, and they've grown so much. They get booked everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to B2, Doof, Black Boy, and us, and I mean that obviously it's so quick, but that's one, and yeah, it's a goal of ours. Like so many producers thank us or producers and DJs thank us a lot for just giving them a platform, because how many of these like small DJs, I mean hundreds of these DJs don't get a chance to perform for a crowd that big.
Sure.
Obviously, some are very well established, been in the scene for years, but a lot of these smaller ones, I mean, they haven't had a chance, and it's been really rewarding to be able to allow that. But do you have any specific people?
I mean, the people that I've been like educating on how to be DJs, right? I'll book them, and it's just really fascinating seeing how they react to it and like the amount of energy you get. Like, I just got done DJing Pride yesterday. It was like 5,000 people. It was the feeling of having that much power to like influence people to dance and like have a good time. I wish that upon so many people to be able to experience, right? To get to some level of, being able to influence a group of individuals. Maybe it's speech, maybe it's a DJ, maybe it's whatever it is, but finding that. But I want to give a shout out to like Space Kitty, Ken, everybody in Jaguar, Coltrane, Goik, all these cats, right? Yeah. Testify, Yada. These are people that have been almost like my day ones, and we've just been moving forward as like a squad. Like whatever it is, every event, every Friday, Saturday, I have like people of them, looking at it. And I try and only book somebody like once a month, right? Okay.
Yeah.
At the max. And
Sure.
even that, right? That's what's 8 times 10. That's 80 DJs in 1 month that we're booking.
Adds up.
Yeah.
We had a question from Instagram. How do I get booked if I'm a DJ? Which, if you paid attention, we're going to be giving away an opening slot here towards the end.
Yeah.
But any insight into that? If you're an aspiring DJ, how to get in touch or send you a demo?
We look at a lot of things actually when it comes to new DJs, right? We care about, one, their level of mixing.
Yeah.
Right? Can they even play on CDJs?
Yeah.
Right? Next, like what does their Instagram look like? Do they have engagement? Like when they post something, are people actually commenting, or is it a bunch of bots?
Yeah.
Have they bought all their followers and whatnot? That's how we determine to bring out like bigger name DJs.
But our small ones, we really don't care about that at all.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we book people with like 100 followers,
Oh, for sure.
just like they're friends from back home, but really,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's really matter. It's just genre usually.
Yeah.
So if it's a genre that is that night, because our flow is pretty interesting. It's like 11:30. It's like pretty dead, not dead, but like it starts like like to turn up, and then like 12:30, 1:30, and then the slots on the very end, like toward 1:30, 2:30, and 3:30 are just packed, like
Yeah.
absolutely packed.
Yeah.
So opening slots, we're pretty open. Like we're pretty open to giving new people a chances to get familiarized or playing on CDJs on a really big sound system, right? So we're relatively open, but it's very genre specific. So most nights it's genre specific. So our Rampage is our bass nights. Abyss, we do drum and bass in house. Abduction, we'll do a bass in house. We have been teaming up with another production company for techno, but we'll probably be pushing our own techno a little bit more. And we always have Quake and Authentic, and they'll do drum and bass and techno.
Yeah.
So we get most of the genres through those different nights, but it can be very genre specific.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I'm really proud of that we do that I'm not a fan of, like major or other like maybe corporate venues around town or even around the world, is what I dislike is when you have your opener and they're playing on like lower volume,
Yes.
right? Like people want to come to a venue and actually get
Here, do that.
I know
They do it
everywhere, and it's
but usually the headliner has a say in that too, kind of, right?
Like we need you to do that.
yeah. So we don't do that.
Okay.
Right? Everybody here gets the same level of volume. And whoever it is that's out there in the crowd listening, you get to fully experience whatever that DJ is presenting.
Yeah. That's awesome. I really like that.
You got one?
All right, yeah, we'll just keep on going here. So without naming names, what's the wildest thing that has ever happened at Plumhouse? Whether that's someone spilling on the decks or a fuse blowing, what is like one of the wildest nights you guys have experienced here?
Legally, we should probably like tone it down.
Nothing illegal.
I mean, just when there's a bunch of people just on stage, right? Like the first stage that I built, I didn't think I was anticipating like everyone to stand on it.
Yeah.
And it was just meant for like the DJ to be up there, but then everyone started going. So I was like, all right, well, I got to reinforce this into the max. And now we have a far superior, like robust stage that can handle like 15 people, you know? So
Yeah.
then whenever like that happens and you just see like all the people on stage really vibing and jumping and seeing the entire crowd full, that's like peak level of like wild in my opinion. You got some people in the front also dancing too. Just really everyone just getting lost in the music. That to me is like the type of perfect wild that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
You know?
Like I mean, especially being the lawyer here, I try my best to keep it as above board as possible. Yeah. So I'm not. Yeah.
Well, I also like the little side things that we do sometimes, right? Like we had a bounce house here.
Oh yeah, the mechanical.
We had the mechanical bull as well, which that was really interesting.
Yeah.
But then also like for Halloween we had like almost like scary carnival games, right?
Yeah.
We had to throw like little brains into like the mouth of zombie.
Somebody was asking what's the deal with the bounce houses and stuff. Is that going to be a thing?
I mean, we want to. We're on the Discord. If you're not following the Discord or you're not a member, hop on that thing because we're asking questions all the time. Like, how do we make this experience better, right? Like, I'm watching, Instagram and I see like a new kind of like flip cup game where you have to move the shot over or something, right?
Yeah.
You move it this way or that way, or you flip it. Yeah, like Rage Like Age.
Yeah, I did do that.
Stuff like that, right? How do we make it more fun and accessible for people activity-wise other than just like sitting down and talking?
Yeah, a little interactive, and we have fun with it. Again, our brand has always been like approachable, and we can like do new things and not take ourselves overly serious.
Yeah.
So it's been really cool.
All right, awesome. Few more here, then we'll hop into some more questions from Instagram. The future. Let's talk about the future, right? You mentioned October is the lease is up, right?
October 1st, yeah.
So
And that's the landlord.
I don't know if you would touch on what the future plans are yet, but anything you could say on that.
I'm working on a deal right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Potentially.
Something's in the works.
We never really deal, but we're
Is it going away? Is it?
no. Why we just started memberships. I know you're about to. We have 408 people that we're like representing. So
Making sure.
we're gonna come back. Not even come back. Ideally, there's not even going to be like an interruption.
Yeah.
So hopefully everybody in September, come experience this. We knew from the get go that this wasn't going to be a permanent space. I mean, look at these 6-story, 8-story building, literally monolith right behind us that are going to be all apartments. There's no way we could have our bass go here. Like we don't even our sound system. We can't even play our sound system at like regular volume. One, you don't have the power to do it. Two, like the sound would rattle plates a block and a half away.
Yeah, at 30 hertz, we had to like turn that off. Right. Yeah.
So we wouldn't be able to run after hours anyway once these were done. So the landlord really got, influenced by how successful we were with this like private club.
Yeah.
And that's what he's creating. So he's going to be turning this place into like a med, not a med spa, but kind of like a swimming pool's going to be inside of here, pickleball course going to be on top of it.
Yes, we're like a daytime day party, like
Yeah.
a little small country club.
Yeah.
Entertainment club, right?
So there's future plans
But we
to be announced.
Yeah, but we're looking at potentially buying a space right now, and it'll definitely be heavily soundproofed and a lot more production. So if we move, it'll likely be like an upgrade.
Everything we would do would be an upgrade.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah.
So, and again, continuity of community. So we don't want the community to feel like we're taking a break, or it's like, it's going to be continuity. It'll just be in a different location. And honestly, it'll probably be better. Like we made the best out of this place, but it'll probably be a lot.
Change is always good.
Nice. Yeah.
It's not always good.
Yeah. But there's always going to be pushback. Everyone's gonna be like, oh, I missed the old Plumhouse. Well, cool.
But you come here in OG.
Yeah, come live it. Come,
The last era.
yeah, come be part of it. I mean, gentrification's happening everywhere, right? So spaces like this are really, really tough to come by and experience. Everybody, like our community keep getting pushed further and further out. So my suggestion is get out here, right? Come experience it while it's here, because, it's not a forever thing. Neither is life, though,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go rapid fire through the audience questions here because I'm sweating like crazy. That
I'm like trying to fan myself with the papers.
How's it going over there?
I'm used to jungle vibes.
All right. Why is it called Plumhouse?
Oh yeah, Plumhouse. I came up with that name. It was like looking for a branding, and I sent a lot of like mood board pictures to my partner at the Greg. That's not here.
Yeah,
and he really resonated with purple flowers for some reason.
Okay.
And I was like, it's just looking at something like really approachable, really short, and plum was like the shortest word for purple possible. Okay. And so I thought plum home, perfect. Yeah, for branding, we can get it out in time for our first event.
Right.
And that was why Plumhouse exists.
Okay.
All right. Next question. So obviously 50, 100, 150 are your guys' tiers. People want to know, can I sell my guest passes or do I need to go in with the guests?
So officially, we have to say no. Officially, you always have to go with the member that has the membership. Yeah. So they're basically your sponsor. These guest passes are essentially a perk of being a member. So you, as a member, get to do what you want with them, but you're also taking on the risk of having a non-member come. So you're taking on the responsibility of having them come. We want to give you the perk to bring your friend, to show your friend what Plumhouse is like. Or, like you take turns being, a member with your homie, So, but officially we cannot, we can't have it look like a ticket sale. So you can't commoditize our guest passes within that.
All right, that's fair. The underground afters is getting very crowded. What do you think is going to happen overall? What do you think is going to happen to other people that don't start complying like you are?
I mean, ideally, this coalition helps everybody become better equipped to handle the police, handle the city, handle any sort of emergencies, right? That's our objective, is to make sure that not only our community, but the entire community has a safe space after hours, right?
Yeah.
Because we're becoming a bigger city. We need this.
I mean, there's competition, right? Like it's saturated, but we're still packed out almost pretty much every weekend night. So, and it's not like no events are going on at the same time. You say, for first time, we have a long list of places we're at, and we're still packed out. So the desire and the demand is still really high. And as long as we can get them to compliant as possible and making sure the city knows that we're safe people and that your consumers or your members are safe people, I think the sustainability is there.
Yeah. Okay. Kind of raise all the boats.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Because the city will look at us as like a group anyway. Yeah. They're like, oh, these people that do stuff late at night, those people are bad, like, oh, there's a stabbing at one of them. And we're like, we've never even had a stabbing in the entire longevity of Plumhouse. Yes, they can just apply that, they can be like, well, you're one of those. And we just don't want that. That's why we wanted to give all that information to people to have it as above board as possible and not dangerous for other people, because it reflects on us, even though
Yeah.
it's not our event, you know?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to skip over this one because we talked about ticketing already.
Yeah.
Somebody said, when can we expect some bigger names? I love local talent, but we need some big names.
Well, I mean, think about how many members we have that come. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like our venue shouldn't hold that much more than what we already have, like a 400 people, 500 people. Like,
What, you start getting big bookings?
and we've had some big bookings, but big DJs, they're only really big DJs that cost like, you know, 10, 15, 20,000. They only do that because alcohol sales and the room is big enough to support them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when we do that, we're gonna have to turn away like 1,000 people at the door.
Yeah.
You know, so we have to book. So obviously, we do a lot of local, but you have to book talent that fills like a 300-400 room typically.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be like mid to low, new up and coming DJs. You know.
Yeah.
And our objective is to try and get big name DJs at least once a month, right?
Yeah.
And
Because in these states, they're not huge.
And these are people that have played at Lost Lands, played at like Nocturnal.
Sure.
These are people that played even at EDC, right? Like our September
Yeah.
final outgoing person. I don't want to name any names yet, but it's looking pretty good, to be honest.
Okay.
So
All right, we'll hold it there. Sorry about that, everybody. Technical difficulty there. Where were we?
Not sure. What did you ask last?
Oh, how is it gonna be different this time?
Oh,
And you guys are different. All right, let's
good
hear it.
question. I mean, we are different. Like,
yeah, with the memberships, right? Like
we already have enough to almost sustain us completely per month. Like, I think that's different. I think a lot of people have tried and they have not succeeded. So, with our culture, our vision, our community has been more robust. And for whatever reason, through leadership, through integrity, through all the things that we've tried to put into the community, it shows differently. So, we're not fly by night. We want sustainable, long-term community. And I think membership's honestly the best way to go, period, even if we weren't trying to just be legally compliant. But as we are legally compliant, and, you know, you have a lawyer on the team, which you normally don't have around a lot of these after spices. So I think for those reasons, I think we already are a lot different. But you never know. You can always see. But if you're watching now and our growth continually, even through the change, you can probably see the difference.
Awesome. All right. So we're gonna follow up on that question in the chat. People want to know: are we gonna see more rhythm artists or heavier genres come through Plumhouse?
yeah, we could probably throw a rhythm night in there.
Yeah.
It's like harder than Rampage potentially.
Yeah, Rampage right now has a lot of melodic bass, has dubstep, but we haven't, because, you know, our tastes haven't had rhythm that much. Gio's not a big rhythm guy. Greg definitely is not rhythm. I like bass, but I trend way more to dubstep and experimental bass. But rhythm, I mean, I love some rhythm DJs here. Like Defiance has some really good guys they put on. And, you know, I'd like to work with them more to have some of their DJs come through here. But yeah, right now it's only a couple nights. But again, there's only 8 nights a month. So it just really depends on where we can fit them in.
Yeah. What's
I mean,
go?
I think we'll throw a rhythm night. Let's see how it goes,
Yeah.
right? Right. If
How many members come in, and you can really just see though, like if we showed on, and you know, not very many, like we did a world-based one,
a global base.
a global-based one, and I thought it'd be pretty popular because maybe those people don't stay up late either. It's like it really depends. Like there's so many factors. Like it might be a really popular thing, but it just doesn't hit. So we kind of keep doing what has worked for us. So if consumers want a new night, talk to us. Maybe we can have like a little Discord voting on new nights, like a brand new night, you know?
Yeah. And we do have a new opening as well. So
Yeah, we have one new opening pretty much every month now. So
Speaking of openings, that was it for the audience questions. And Marissa, didn't you mention that you did a spin wheel for the winners?
a spin wheel. Let's go.
Yes. So if you're watching live, we're gonna announce it in the on Instagram and Discord as well. But there was 2 giveaways for this interview. Okay. The first one was a month of Plum Core membership, which is $100 value. Pretty solid prize, not gonna lie.
yeah.
And the second was for an opening DJ slot to be announced, whatever works, you know, for everybody's calendars. We'll work that out, I'm sure.
Also $100 value.
also $100 value because we would pay you $100.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. All right. So, what do we got? The winners. Which one is which?
First one is
DJ.
Yeah.
All right. The first winner is Keenan Campbell for the DJ slot. Okay.
congratulations.
Congratulations. And the winner for the 1 month free is Dalton Terry.
Okay. Sweet. Just send us those Instagrams or
Yep.
and we'll get it.
Yeah, we'll honor them for sure.
All right. Awesome.
Congratulations, you guys.
Yeah. So welcome to the Plum fam.
Last before we wrap up, any shout outs you want to give? I know you gave a bunch. You got any you want to shout out quick?
Shout outs. I mean, honestly, just everybody that's been helpful and gave us a lot of guidance. Like the guys over at Blackboard have been really dope. Like Jibo, Randy, Drew, Danny, Alice, or Beauty, like all the other collectives have been really supportive. And obviously are just core members that always come. So yeah, they know who they are. But sorry, I just wanted this. So.
I mean, my shout out is going to be to our team. I'm the one, like,
That's true.
this wouldn't happen without the people who run the lights, the people who built our sound system, right? So Tyler, Carl, our cleaners, Tin, Kainani even as well. Or not Tin. Luna and Venom, right? Like, and Allie who runs the door. She's almost like the face of the entire Plumhouse, right?
Yeah.
So it's like,
Our security.
security team, like, man, these guys show up every single week.
Yeah,
And
it's a lot of work.
And it's afterwards, we all talk, hang out, and it's a little family,
Yeah. Awesome. All right.
And yeah, each other too. Yeah, David's been great. Like the team. It's almost like anything that really has come up or you have to deal with. Like I trust our team to be able to handle it. Like any new challenge is, I'm not welcome, but we can handle it.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Well, tell us about the shows quick this weekend, and we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, so we have Friday Intricacy. So that's a collaboration that Gio put together with these guys from LA.
Yeah, he's from Los Angeles, and he throws big events just all over the
A
world.
lot of headliner coming for that
We
one.
have Ram coming in.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then Saturday we have a classic Rampage. With Ali here. With Sleazer again. This is a great company, production company to work with. To curate one of our stages, but I put me and and Mitch has been helpful for helping me curate the packages. So awesome. But another good Rampage. So bass music this weekend on Saturday for sure.
All right. Sweet. Well, thanks again for letting us interview you guys, and thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks for asking questions. Congrats to the winners, and until next time. All right. Have a good rest of your day.
Take it easy, y'all.
See you, Pam.
EDMElevated.com.